Hi everyone, I'm Callie Kim. Welcome to my garden. Summer is not over yet. We still have several months of heat left. And to help our gardens survive the heat, we need to have a heat survival strategy. Just think of how many more vegetables you could harvest from your container garden if you have a strategy, if you stick to a strategy, and that's what we're going to cover today. I make videos to help you be a better gardener and make your life easier, so you can spend more of your time doing what you love to do and harvesting more veggies. Let's dig in. Strategy number one is shade cloth with easy accessibility to my plants. Now I have over 20 varieties of fruits, vegetables, herbs, and flowers here in my container garden. And if I'm not protecting them with shade cloth, they're gonna burn up in the triple-digit temperatures we've been having. The key is it needs to be easy to access my plants to care for them under the shade cloth. What I've done is installed a semi-permanent shade cloth structure with taller trellises on either end and in the middle to clip my shade cloth to. So it's a larger piece of shade cloth, a large 20 by 30 size, which I've anchored in the back with brick, brought it over my plants to completely cover my entire garden, and then I can roll this down on hot days and roll it up on cooler days, so I can then leave my shade cloth structure up all season long, easily access my plant, and protect it all summer. You know how sometimes it's hard to slide your shade cloth over your tall trellises? Becky Martinez sent me a great tip to put water bottles over the tops of your trellises to make it easier to adjust. Strategy number two is to create a microclimate for your containers by grouping them all together in one location. Now what this does is it minimizes stress on individual plants, keeps them cooler. They also have shared shade and sun protection. It also makes watering a lot more efficient, so you're a lot more likely to do it. The plants get the moisture they need to make it through the stress of a hot day. Strategy number three is pruning. Now pruning is very important in the heat because it removes the dead, spent parts of the plant and allows the plant to focus its energy into surviving and thriving in the heat. So you want to take off anything that looks dead and crispy, like these little strawberry leaves here. And you'll be surprised how much your plants do produce here under the shade cloth, even on those hot summer days. So take off anything that's brown and crispy, anything that might have gotten singed or is yellowing because of disease. And this is where shade cloth with accessibility really comes into play here. So if you can't get under here to take care of your plants, they're not going to do as well. But by keeping up with it, they're going to continue to thrive and grow even in the heat. Strategy number four is watering. Now containers are a whole different animal than your raised beds or your in-ground gardens when it comes to watering. They're smaller, the water drains through, so they get thirstier in the hot weather, they dry out faster. So you need to water them on a different schedule. Now I have everything hooked up here to drip irrigation, which means I can set it on a timer and forget it. And I've had a lot of questions about how do I hook all my containers together. So I have my drip emitter hoses wound around the inside of my containers. For more details on that, watch our heat-proof container watering video. But then I daisy chain my containers together with supply hoses that run from container to container that keep the water flowing through my drip hoses throughout my entire container garden here. When the temperatures soar, your containers are going to dry out very, very quickly. So what I do is I bump up the frequency of my drip irrigation schedule. Once a day, 20 minutes a day. Sometimes I even push the manual button to water for about 10 minutes as the sun goes down. One little tool that really helps me out is this moisture meter. Really key to telling when my containers are dry and need water or not. So it has this little long stick here that I put into my containers, and when there's enough moisture in them, the meter shows me that, or on the other hand, when they're too dry, it can show me that too. Another item that's been very helpful for me in keeping my plants hydrated are these plant caddies or plant trays with rollers. I love the rollers because it allows me to move my containers around my container garden if I want to, and it catches the overflow water from my drip irrigation. This is also very helpful for you if you don't have drip irrigation to water your plants efficiently. So the plant can continue to soak up water during the day when it gets overheated, but if it's getting too saturated, has these nifty little drain holes that I can then unplug, and the water flows out right into this drain tray. If you don't have drip, no problem. You just want to water with your hose or your watering can, sometimes even a couple of times a day. Again, you can use your moisture meter to check if they need water. And make sure you water your plants deeply till it runs out the bottom. And again, this is where these drain trays are very, very helpful. Strategy number 5 is the mid-season boost. Now at this point in the growing season, your containers might be looking a little bit tired and worn out from the heat, and they need a little bit of extra food to continue making it through the heat and through the summer. So I like to give them a handful of compost at the base of the plant. This is a beautiful banana legs tomato that has a ton of tomatoes on it in a 15-gallon smart pot. And the smart pots are aerated so your plants actually stay cooler and don't boil like they would in a plastic container. So I'm just going to scratch that into the bottom of the plant. And then I'm going to soak that in with a nice little feeding. And here I'm popping in some vermisterit worm tea, and it has tons of beneficial bacteria and microbes. Really helps them manage the stress of the heat of the summer. And then I want to soak in that good compost and worm castings to activate all the microbes and keeps them not only surviving, but actually thriving on the hot summer days. I give my plants the compost and the worm castings about once a month during the summertime, and the water-soluble fertilizer in my containers about every 7 to 10 days. We're halfway through the summer heat, so hang in there, and I hope you found this video helpful to help your container gardens survive the rest of the summer heat. All the links for the smart pots and supplies I use for my heat survival strategy are in the video description to make it easier for you. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time in the garden.